Hi guys, this video will serve as an introduction to Unit 3, and we will cover the prompt, the outline, the rubric, the discussion boards, and where you can find our film for the unit, Hidden Figures. Alright, so please do watch this in its entirety. So we can go into the Assignments tab, Unit 3 folder. 1022 is where we will find our folder for Essay 3, and we can click right here. Okay. So we have the prompt. So we can notice our deadlines here. We have a Stanton reading and discussion board due 1022, Glassbell Cisneros Brady reading and discussion due 1029, Hidden Figures DB and the rough draft DB are both due 11/5, and then the final draft is due 11/12. Okay. So do keep in mind when you get to this 11/5 folder, I would recommend that you finish the Hidden Figures discussion board by Wednesday or so during the week so that you'll have enough time to finish your rough draft. So just a fair warning there, do keep that in mind. And the 1029, there are 3 readings there. So the Glassbell reading and the Brady reading are both in your textbook, so you can read ahead of time. Cisneros you will find in that folder. It's a link on Blackboard. But just a fair warning there, do start everything early in this unit. Okay, so some background about our readings here. Elizabeth Cady Stanton's Declaration of Sentiments and Resolutions outlines the platform for the women's rights movement. Susan Glassbell's Trifles is a play that argues for female solidarity and debuted in theaters just 4 years before women earned the right to vote with the ratification of the 19th Amendment. Her text explores the perception of Mr. and Mrs. Wright's marriage, as well as Mrs. Wright's individual happiness. She is the main suspect in her husband's murder, and the audience witnesses the interaction between the male investigators and their wives and who ultimately solves the crime. Hidden Figures, a film released in 2016 but about events in the 1960s, is a contemporary film about African American women who were paramount in NASA's early space program in the 60s. It follows 3 different women, an engineer, a programmer, and a physicist mathematician, and reveals the direct role they played in a successful space mission, stories that have been untold until now. Judy Brady's I Want a Wife outlines the duties of a traditional wife and argues that she would love to have a wife who follows these prescriptions. After all, who wouldn't, she says. Woman Hollering Creek by Sandra Cisneros delves into the troublesome and abusive relationship between husband and wife and echoes the urban legend of La Llorona, crying woman, a woman who drowns her children in a river when she finds out that her husband has been unfaithful, and then proceeds to drown herself. The ghost of La Llorona then mourns her loss by crying and looking for her children. Cisneros' story, however, revises this tale by adding an element of female solidarity and empowerment. The river in the story means something quite different than it does in the folktale. Okay, so that is the context of all 5 of our units readings. Okay, so one note about Hidden Figures, I do want to show you on Blackboard where you can find the film. Okay, so in the Unit 3 11/5 folder, there are 2 links here. Okay, so the first is on Amazon, and I believe that you need to have an account in order to rent a film on Amazon, but don't quote me on that. You can kind of play around here and see for yourself, but you can see the prices here. If you want to buy it, of course, it's yours forever, or you can just rent it. If you rent it, you have 48 hours to finish it once you start it, but you do have 30 days to start watching it. Okay? So that is one option, the Amazon option. The other option is the Redbox option. So I've provided that link as well. So you can go ahead and click on Rent at the Box, and then you can choose Blu-ray or DVD. And then it takes you to a screen where if you'd like to, you can choose a pickup spot and go ahead and continue and pay right there, and it will reserve the film for you at your chosen Redbox. Okay, so that's up to you if you want to reserve it. If not, you can kind of just see where it is and then just drive over there and pay when you get there. It's $150 a night, so I think you have to return it by 9 p.m. or it will charge you for the next day. So it's $163 with tax. So it's a little bit cheaper than Amazon, but you may have to leave your house to go and get it. So it's up to you which option you prefer. Okay. So that's just a little note on Hidden Figures. So let's get into our essay assignment. For this assignment, write an essay which answers the question, has the single story of women changed since pre-suffrage, or Stanton's time? Why or why not? Okay, so I'm going to highlight this here so we keep that in mind. Explore the traditional roles of women that are present in our unit's text, and make an argument for how or if women's roles have changed, and if or how women's rights have now been granted. Use at least 3 of our course readings as the foundation for your evidence, but you may also bring in current events to bolster your discussion of modern events, okay? So the highlighted question there, has the single story of women changed since pre-suffrage? That is the question you're going to answer. So in a 1 to 2 sentence thesis statement, you are going to answer that question, and the rest of your essay is going to support your thesis using at least 3 of our readings and possibly some outside sources as well for any historical text that you want to bring in or anything on current events. So remember the list of texts are all in the colors here. So Stanton, Trifles, Hidden Figures, Brady, and Cisneros. Hidden Figures is of course a text, even though it is not written down. Okay, so these are some questions here to help you brainstorm. Are discussions of women's roles and rights still relevant today? In what ways are women still fighting for equality, and are these efforts necessary? So this is just to kind of generate some raw material, but again, remember you are answering that highlighted question. And then this is, the same as usual. 4 to 6 pages, 3 readings, a creative title, concrete evidence. And what I mean by concrete evidence, some students with this paper tend to just summarize the text that they're going to use and then make kind of vague generalizations. So be sure that you're using very specific evidence in your text. Pull out direct quotes. Quote, paraphrase specific scenes from the film if you're using the film. Try not to just generally summarize and then just make kind of a broad conclusion, okay? You want proper style, fully developed analysis, and you're addressing a scholarly audience, so please do not use you and your. Those pronouns are not appropriate for a scholarly audience because it's too conversational. So he or she or people or individuals or society or whatever, but not you and your. Okay, so this is essentially the prompt, and now I want to move on to talk about what you can find on Blackboard. So let's go back to the Essay 3 folder. Okay, so the prompt is here. You'll see the video here, and then you can see the outline template. It's downloading. Okay, and it's right here. So just note in the intro, you'll just need to contextualize, obviously, women, right? But this is the same outline that I used for the last unit. So you're going to contextualize your specific, topic on women and stereotypes and gender roles. And then you're going to have a thesis. And then just like last time, topic, sentence, evidence, analysis. And then you'll repeat that structure for any additional paragraphs that you include, okay? So pretty cut and dry there. And then the rubric you can find here as well. Again, it's the same rubric as last time because we're still dealing with argumentation. And it's loading. Okay, so thesis, organization, development, style, grammar, MLA, intro, conclusion. And then you can read the descriptions for each of the categories. Remember, we're aiming for strong, obviously, in all of the categories. And I do have listed here, some of you are missing this, but no second person, right? And smoothly integrate quotes. So be sure that you're working on those things. And while I'm thinking of it here, the embedding quotes in more document, I've indicated to some of you that you should check out this document in your Essay 1 or Essay 2 feedback. So when you open it, you'll notice it shows you exactly how to integrate quotes. And I use integrate, the document here uses embedded, but it's the same thing. So this quote is not integrated because this is a comma splice, and this is integrated. Not embedded because here the quote is its own sentence. You never want the quote to be its own sentence. So notice here how it just flows straight into the sentence. It's integrated, right? It's embedded. So you can go through and see all these examples. All right. And then let's see what else we got. oh, the sample essays, right? So we have a couple in here. Both of these scored very, very high, of course, because they're samples. So I'll just open them both at the same time. So this is sample 1. Okay, and I just want to show you the different thesis statements. Don't worry about the red, it was a PDF, so that was the only way I could think of to mark out the student's name. But here, the single story of women has indeed changed, okay? And then throughout the paper, he's arguing how it has changed. So he uses Stanton, okay, Stanton, lots of history to set up the paper, and then he brings in trifles, okay? But what's really nice about his paper is that he doesn't just separate each paragraph by the source that he's using. Okay, he brings back, you know, Stanton within the trifles paragraph, right? And then he brings in hidden figures, okay? And if we continue down, he does come back and reference Stanton at the end, okay? So this one's really good, like I said, because it's kind of sophisticated in the way that it's organized, all right? And then this one here is another one. And at the end here, this is her thesis. The single story of women has adapted to no longer fit one woman, and the progress women continue to have made with all of their rights is tangible today. Okay, so this is really good because it references modern times as well. But again, you see that she's using direct quotes from Stanton. Notice declaration of sentiments is in quotes. This should be in italics for hidden figures. Okay, please do note that everything is formatted correctly on your prompt. So if you're not sure whether something should be in quotes or italics, just look right here, right? Quotes, italics, italics, quotes, and quotes, right? So please, it just slows me down when I'm grading. You know, you have this information right here for you, okay? That was the rubric. So you can scroll through here and kind of see how this person, and this person used an outside source. Along with Brady here. So you can kind of see how this person goes about the same paper. Okay, there's many ways that you can go about this. So hopefully those sample essays will be helpful to you. And then I've also provided you with the works cited. Okay, it's right here. So you can view it as a PDF, but what I recommend is opening it as a Word document because you can just copy and paste the sources that you use for your paper. Do be sure that you delete the ones that you don't use. So if you don't use hidden figures, you know, delete hidden figures. And then just delete essay 3 here. So it just says works cited. I just wanted to indicate to you that this is for essay 3. All right. And then of course, if you add outside sources, be sure to add those to the works cited as well. So everything is right here for you in the essay 3 materials folder. The last couple of things I wanted to show you was the discussion boards, okay? So basically what we're going to be doing is answering some questions for each of the discussion boards. And it says here, you can use anything from this discussion board in essay 3, so really use it to critically reflect on the text and to think ahead to a potential argument or thesis, all right? So you can use whatever material you generate from answering these questions in your essay 3, all right? So, and that statement will be there for each discussion board for this unit. So Stanton, there's 7 questions. You're going to answer them and then respond to your peers. Pretty straightforward. And then this is going to be Glassbell, Cisneros, and Brady. There's 5 questions for each author. I already mentioned this one's rather lengthy. Here is the Cisneros reading right here. You click on it, it opens as a PDF. And what I've given you here for trifles is some pre-reading notes. It says, take particular note of the following. These notes will help you answer the discussion board questions. Trifles has a lot of symbols in it. So do be sure that you are reading slowly, take notes, look for these things that I'm asking you to look for here in these notes, because it will help target your reading. It will help you focus a little bit more so that you can answer these questions. It will just help you come up with a more insightful understanding of the text. Okay, and then last, in the 11.5 folder, right, I already told you this as well, but this is rather lengthy. Okay, you're going to watch hidden figures. You're going to answer the discussion board questions. There's 6 questions, and you're going to complete the peer review. with the peer responses. So like I said, start this one in particular very, very early. Start it Sunday if you can. And if you already have access to Hidden Figures, you can already start watching it early. And of course, you can already start working on the draft of your essay before you watch the movie. And you can just, add in a paragraph or add in a little section on Hidden Figures later if you want to do that. So all of this can be, started ahead of time. And then your paper will be due 11/12, all right, in this folder here. All right, so that is Unit 3. So please email me if you have any questions.